Hey, welcome, welcome,
Hey.
welcome. Come on in, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Silhouette of a Queen. I am your founder and host, Tiffany Devon, and I am a certified life coach and wardrobe stylist that styles leaders and influencers in fearless fashions. So, where are y'all at today? Well, where are you? Let me see you. If you are watching live or watching the replay, hit the comments because I do read the comments section, okay? So this is your opportunity and your time to click the like, subscribe, and share button. So that way that you can get notified whenever I go live and stay in touch with all of the happenings and things that I have going on here on my page. For those of you, some of you are new to the Silhouette of a Queen platform. I want to just take this moment to kind of introduce to you what Silhouette of a Queen is and why I formed it. We are actually approaching 2 years in June of 2022. So I started it in June 2020, right at the height of the pandemic. And listen, let me tell you something. I have learned so much from just even starting this podcast. I have grown with you. I have probably cried some tears with you behind the scenes and everything. But I just want to let you know that I created Silhouette of a Queen for you in mind. With you in mind. And if you think about it, let's think about this for a moment, what a silhouette is. A silhouette is an image that is still yet forming, still yet becoming, much like we are, right? So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey of womanhood, we are always ascending and becoming our highest and best self. So that's why I created the Silhouette of a Queen platform. I wanted it to be a space where we could talk about mental and emotional well-being, where we could talk about beauty, sexuality. I've covered so many different topics here on Silhouette of a Queen, but one of my favorite things to do, which is what I'm going to be talking about tonight, is personal style, because I am a wardrobe stylist outside of being a coach. And so my guest that I have on here tonight, before I introduce who she is, because she is no stranger to me, but I'm going to introduce you all to her in just a moment. But I want to just read to you real briefly, say it with style, okay? Is your personal style saying what needs to be said? What is your personal style giving? Is it giving traditional, conservative, chic, edgy, or bold? And why should you care? Here's why. As a leader and influencer, you only have a few moments to make an impact with wherever you go and whichever room you step in. So you want to be clear of what you're saying at all times, okay? Because as leaders and influencers are we have this thing, what I call a magnetism, where we draw others. And we want to make sure that when we walk into spaces and whatnot, especially when we're trying to introduce who we are, we're putting our brand out there, we want to make sure that we are drawing the right people. And so I want to leave with you this quote by Jay Danzy. He says, "Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark." So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about why it's important. And I just think it's so important because of who we are, especially as women, when we're leaders and influencers in our community. I don't think sometimes we really think of the magnitude of everything that we do and everything that we put our hands to and how it can prosper and touch the lives of many other people. And so with this segment tonight, I believe is going to cause you to think even further about who you are, how you show up in the world, okay? So my guest is Durriyyah Anderson. I'm just going to read and share with you her bio real quick. She is a devoted wife and mother. She is a lover of all things creative. She is embracing the evolution of self and all that God has called her to be in ministry, business, and influence. Her name means bright and shining star, and that she is. She is the host of Hot Tea with Dee podcast. So we're going to give it up for Durriyyah Anderson, okay?
Hey, thank you, Tiffany.
Yes. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So, for those of you that are watching, Durriyyah and I go way back,
Way back.
way back, like middle school.
Middle school before the braces, way back.
And so me and Durriyyah, we just kind of kept up with each other along the way through high school, through college, after college. I'm originally from Kansas City, Kansas. I grew up there, and I relocated to the Dallas area here in 2007. So we have just kind of kept up, and through way of social media and whatnot. And so I just want to have her just briefly describe, like, who is Durriyyah? Can you let the people know who is Durriyyah?
Well, thank you, Tiffany, for having Durriyyah on your podcast today. It is definitely an honor and a privilege. I really appreciate being invited to your platform. Durriyyah is, some people say I'm goofy, child, but Durriyyah is definitely a wife and a mother, and family oriented, and a creative at heart, and currently the host of Hot Tea With Dee. And I mean, I'm just fun loving. I'm a good friend. I'm a good family member. Honestly, I'm trying to figure that out a little bit more because I've been a mother for the last 22 years.
Yeah.
So it's interesting me trying to discover Durriyyah as Durriyyah is coming out of a specific phase of motherhood. So there we have it.
I love it. I love what you said about this discovery, because that really ties into the whole piece of personal style. Because like what you said, you've been a mother for 22 years. And I know that you just recently celebrated your daughter graduating from college.
Yes.
We're going to give it up for your daughter. We're going to shout out
Thank
Corey.
you. Shout out Corey.
Hey, Corey. And so, I think you would probably be safe to say, like, with discovery in your personal style, do you feel like over the years, what did you think about personal style in regards to, like, being a mother, being a wife, and now where you are now in your life?
So personal style has definitely been a journey for me. So, there were the days when I was in the club. Let's just go straight there. When I was in the club and I was in my 20s, listen, my 20s don't owe me anything. And when I was in my 20s, honey, my style was it. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I, listen, for real. And I was different. I didn't mind being different. I didn't mind rocking whatever I was gonna rock. Sometimes I might have gotten influenced by my big sisters or whatever. But then I got into that decade of my 30s and met Jesus. And so when I met Jesus, the club where it wasn't matching the church wear.
Yeah.
So I had to find that. And I'm, just getting a little bit older. So I think I was a little churchy. I had a real churchy style. And then I discovered that I had kind of fell maybe a little too much into the churchy style when we were about to take a trip and I didn't have no sexy clothes to pack. And I was like, wait a minute. So then they say, when you get married, you get, they call it happy fat. So I had gained a little happy fat, and then I got lost, child. I was like, I don't know what to do with this body. I don't know what to wear. And so I like floral print, and I was wearing a lot of floral print. And then I was looking older than I am. So, it's just been a little bit of a journey. But I will say that now I'm coming back into a space of being comfortable with the decisions that I make to wear, and like what decisions I'm making as far as my personal style goes. And I'm not looking for someone's approval as much as I was, even let's say a year ago. I was looking for approval in my style because I was struggling through that journey.
Yeah. And I think, like, what you said is so key for a lot of women, especially like when you get into, your 30s and your 40s. And like you said, in your 20s, it's all about, okay, I got the flat stomach, I got this, and I'm about to show, like you said, the 20s don't owe us anything because that's what we were doing in our 20s. But then you cross over into your 30s, and then you can cross over into your 40s, and you can cross over into your 50s. And I think for any woman, no matter what, how old you are, what season of life you're in, you're always going to be faced with the question of reinventing yourself. It's always going to be reinventing yourself. Like, how do I want to show up in this phase in my life? What do I want to say? What should I be giving? Which is why I created Say It With Style, because I wanted women to understand, like, what is it that you want to say, and be okay with what you're saying. But in order to do that you have to be comfortable with who you are and knowing who you are and not comparing yourself to another woman.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, when I reached out to you in October 2021, I knew that you were doing your podcast. I'm like, I know she is a leader and influencer just by how you carried yourself. And so I said, Durriyyah, I really feel like I want to help you, with revamping your personal style. So tell me what you thought about that when I first reached out to you.
Listen, somebody needed to help me. So when you reached out and said you wanted to help me with my personal style, I was like, I love it because I love your style and I love what you bring forth. So, and I knew that I needed a little bit of direction, a little bit of guidance. Like, I just kind of lost myself. I feel like there was one point in time where I had it figured out and I lost it. So when you reached out and said that you wanted to help me with that, I was all for it because I was like, I trusted you just based off of what I see, the way you come forth. And I was here for it. I was like, and I'm the type of person that I'm going to go ahead and give you all of me. So if you tell me, hey, I don't like that, I might roll my eyes, but I'm going to get rid of it.
and so speaking of rolling your eyes, you rolled your eyes a lot during that process. So we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about the closet edit process that we did, because Durriyyah mentioned earlier she loved floral. I'm not a big fan of floral. I just don't like it. So let me kind of share with the viewers how the closet edit process works. So I do a consultation. It's about maybe 30 to 45 minutes where I take the time to ask a series of questions to my client about, what their current style is. What do they see for themselves? Where do they want to go? And based off of the answers that I get from the consultation is how we then move into the closet edit process, where we are both working together and deciding on, is this a piece that really serves where you say you want to go?
Yes.
Right. And so then we have pieces where it's like, oh yeah, that's a great piece. Oh, you're not really wearing that? Oh, you should be wearing that. We're going to show you how to reintroduce it in a new, fresh, and hype way. And so I did notice, like, Durriyyah had a lot of floral. And so by the end,
sometimes you're going to say that, Tiffany.
Because by the end of the closet edit process, she was like, all my floral is in the no section.
I was like, so what I'm picking up is that my floral is the destruction of my style.
So can you share with everybody, like, while you were going through the closet edit process and we're going through and we're taking out the pieces and removing them, and we have a yes, no, and maybe pile. Okay. By the time that you were finished, tell me what you were thinking.
Okay. I was thinking that what I had just discovered in that moment was that solids and good shaped items were a win. And because the couch full of no's were florals and prints. So I think that for a while was what was speaking to me as far as style. Like, I was like, oh, if it has print on it, or if it's floral, or if it, I want things that are busy, because I'm kind of busy. Like, I'm not a real structured and straight kind of gal. Like, I kind of like a little fun in my wardrobe. So all of a sudden my closet was becoming very straight. So I saw a lot of cute pieces in there, but I didn't see fun in the way that I was used to seeing it. That was my initial reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like too, when I was corresponding with you over the series of like the next few months, there were a lot of discovery that you were making along the way, which I thought was so enlightening, because I think women need to understand that if they go down this journey of really deciding to revamp their image, the self-discovery piece that you're going to uncover about yourself, not even just really with clothes, but maybe so with like, man, I'm really showing up in the world and I'm not being risky. So I'm gonna say this for myself, like, right? Because I've had to go through this process and journey myself. So the person that you see today, like with the beret and all of that and the brass knuckle ring, like people see me today and just think like I've always been this woman, but I haven't. It was a journey and a process that I had to even take with myself. And I found that the more that I took risks, like in my career with different things and being like, oh, that worked, that didn't work, you know, like public speaking, the more things that I did that added to my self-confidence, the more that I could take risks with my personal style of even getting to the point where now I could wear my hair shaved on the side and put lines on it. There would have been a point like 4 years ago, I would have never done that. Yeah. And I remember when my last year with my hairstylist, she cut it closer than she had ever done. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh, scary.
We out here. Like, it's like almost bald to the side. But I was like, well, this is hair. It can grow back. And so I have taken that and applied it to every area of my life to be like, let's just throw some stuff on the wall and see what sticks. Oh, that stuck, that worked, that didn't. Okay. And I'm constantly like pivoting and reinventing myself. How do you feel like that applied to your life? What did it start to show you about yourself?
Okay, so risk, especially going to an 8 to 5 every day, where you're paying attention to the culture of this office.
Yes.
And so the culture of my office is not risky. Yeah. Okay, so the ladies in my office, they're not here for, I'll just put it like this. They're not here for fashion. They're not here for fashion. So they're here to plug numbers. So it's like, that's what this office looks like. So all of a sudden my closet is kind of new. We're working with some new things, and I'm gonna, you know, I was doing things like showing Tiffany my look of the day. I'm like, outfit of the day, you know, take a picture or whatever. And I was trying risky things and feeling initially self-conscious because I'm the only one walking in this way. So, and what I mean by this way is colorful. Like I may have worn new colors that I normally would have maybe not worn to work. Like I didn't look at my office as a place to be fashionable because of the culture in itself. So when I was taking those risks, I was nervous. I told you I was a person that hated or scared of earrings. Yeah. Because y'all remember the Jetsons? Y'all remember Rosie on the Jetsons? And she had those things that came out of her neck like that. So earrings made me feel like Rosie on the Jetsons. Like I felt like I had things coming out of my neck. So I hated wearing like earrings. And Tiffany was like, no, be bold. It's okay. Wear your earrings. So I just kept trusting Tiffany and kept trying it and kept doing things and got more comfortable with it. I eventually, you know, got past and through that initial feeling like everybody's looking at me. And what's wrong with that? That's what Tiffany said. What if they are? But initially it was risky and I felt weird, but I am now through that.
Yay.
Hey.
And someone just said in the comment section, risk will influence others. And it is so true. It's so true, because the thing is that as a woman, when we look at ourselves as influencers, we know that, okay, yeah, I'm coming into this office space. And a lot of us do work in office spaces where it may be super uber conservative. And so you're coming in with your hair like maybe boom, or your clothes is like bam, and nobody's doing bam, but you coming in here like bam, and you feel like, oh man, I'm about to really disrupt the thing. But the thing is that it will give other people permission to start marching to the beat of their own drum because you did it.
Because that's what you told me. I remember saying to you, you know, I don't want to outdress, not to sound cocky or anything like that, but I didn't want to outdress the boss. Like, I think that somewhere along the line, I heard some type of rule where you need to kind of match the culture of the office, like don't outdress your boss and things like that. So I kind of was trying to stay in that type of vein, like not on some comparative stuff, like not on some, I dress cuter than her, because boo, I might just dress cuter than her, but more on like, if I'm dressing like a 10 and everybody else is dressing like, you know, we're keeping it cool in 5s. So I was trying not to do that. But I remember you telling me, listen, what's going to happen is the more you stay in your space and the more that you walk in that comfortably, you are going to find that other people are going to rise to that same space that you're walking in. And listen, because they was starting to dress like me a little bit and they was asking about it. And one girl tried to get me to help her dress for the Jasmine Sullivan concert. I said, listen, you're going to have to call Tiffany. Call Tiffany. She was treating me like I was a stylist. It threw me off because I was like, I mean, I played it cool. You know, I was just playing it cool. But I was like, that is so funny to me because I'm working with a stylist and now she's looking at me like I can help her. So Tiffany, you were so right by saying that.
Yes, I love to hear it. I love to hear it because, you know, it lets me know that all of us, you know, have a measure of influence. We really don't really, I think, understand like the power of influence and what we have. And so when you can just do something as small as that a little bit, then you have the ability to go in and change environments and change cultures and things like that. So I'm so glad that you arrived at that space and really began to start seeing it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tiff.
Yeah. How did your like some of your family, you know, start responding to you, you know, taking on more risks?
I mean, I told my husband what I was doing, right, and everything, but he came to get me for lunch one time and I came out the building and I was walking to the car and he was like, hey girl, can I get your number? I was like, it must be working. So my husband really, he started to notice that I was kind of getting back into a more confident and sexy, sassy. I guess confident is probably more the word that I'll use for at work because I'm not dressing sexy for work. But when I came out of the building for lunch, he was really impressed with what I was wearing. My daughter told me, and sometimes I say she's my biggest hater. But what I mean by that is, right when you think you really got it going on, just go talk to your child and she's gonna tell you, you need to change them shoes. So when I started getting her buy-in and I could walk in her room and say, you ready to go get her nails done? And she's like, okay, I see you, it's giving. So she was telling me I was giving. So I think, you know, my family was really responding to it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. You know, and one of the things too that I like that you shared privately, and I want you to share here, is you said you started noticing like, I think I like t-shirts. I think I just like t-shirts. What else? I mean, share with that process, like how did you arrive there, and what do you think you're going to start implementing even now as you move forward?
Okay, so yeah, I text Tiffany one day and said, Tiffany, if it wasn't a shame, I wear a t-shirt every day of my life. But I don't mean it in a bummy type fashion. Like, I don't want to dress a t-shirt just bummy and just like, I don't have anything to wear, but I really like graphic tees. And to be quite honest, I've liked graphic tees for a long time. Like, when I go back even into my 20s, I love to wear a really cute shirt. And I think it's because there are a lot of messages in t-shirts.
Yeah.
So I don't really mean just a plain black t-shirt or a plain white t-shirt, although sometimes those are cute. But I like the messaging in t-shirts, and I can speak to a room, I can speak to the world, I can speak to my audience, I can speak at work sometimes. I mean, if it's t-shirt day. But I like that, and I like to dress around it. So I think that, you know, when I was a little afraid to take risks, maybe I wouldn't have worn these type of earrings with a t-shirt, because when you put on a t-shirt, you think dress down. But I'm loving the t-shirt and earrings and a certain something with my hair, or getting back into makeup, because y'all listen, I had even stopped doing the makeup for a while. But anyway, so that's what I mean by t-shirts. I love the messaging. I love how comfortable they are.
Yeah.
I love how sassy they can be.
Yeah.
And it's about to be summer, so I'm probably gonna cut that neck off and let the t-shirt hang off my sleeves. There's so much you can do with a t-shirt.
Yes. And I want you guys to just notice what she just said about t-shirt, because even with you, that's a part of your personal style and your personal brand. You said, I can cut it off and let it hang off. And so that's part of the thing of even discovering and owning your own personal style, is doing something just as simple as saying, I'm going to cut this up or whatever, because it's really not so much about following rules as it is about following your heart and what works for you. And a lot of times too, we allow certain environments to kind of stifle like who we are, and like, oh, I can't do that, and I can't wear this. And especially like when we work in corporate environments, I always find a way to give a little bit of Tiffany edge to it. You know, you're not going to get me to completely conform to what everybody's doing. But and I always tell people, like, if you can't, because especially when you're a leader and an influencer, you just don't know the magnitude and the power that you really have, that you can push the envelope, push it.
Yeah.
I always say push the envelope a little bit, because when you do push the envelope a little bit, you give other people like, I didn't know we could do that, but I saw her come in and
hey, carry the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Before we wrap up tonight, I want you to, what would you say, tell the next leader or influencer before they start the process of redefining their life? What do they need to think about?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that before they start redefining their, you said life and okay.
Yeah, their life and their style.
And their style. Before they do that, I would say think about the core, think about your core before you even start trying to figure out what style you want to wear, because it literally might not match your core. And so there's a person on the inside who will literally exude on the outside within your fashion if you allow them to agree. So I think sometimes when I was trying this or trying that, or liking what this celebrity wears or liking what this person wears and trying to match it, it can't line up if it really doesn't agree with who you are. And I would also say to really deal with your self-love before you even dive into that style journey, because this is what I discovered. Y'all know I told you that when I got married, I had gained 2 pounds. And so when I gained those, it changed my body. So while it changed my body, me and my body were not getting along. Like, I didn't like my body. I did not love the body. So then if I didn't love it, then no matter what I tried to wear, no matter, and this is what I discovered after we had done the closet and everything, no matter what I tried to wear, I would not love that look because it's sitting on a body that I don't love.
Yes.
So I had to get to a point where arms, waistline, thick thighs save lives. I had to get to the point that I was going to love every part and every curve on my body so that I could love the style that I'm putting on my body. So I would definitely say takes a moment to go on a bit of a self-love journey so that you can be in the right place for that style change.
Yes, oh gosh, that is so true. Because I found myself like, I don't know if anybody else has gone through this this pandemic pounds that have been put on. And as women, we can be very self-critical of our bodies when we put on weight. And the first thing that we do is like, man, this doesn't look right on me anymore. This doesn't feel right. It's tight. And we start letting ourselves go. And before we even recognize it, we're not even dressing the way that we used to. And I think what you just said is so monumental and so key to the self-love portion, is that you gotta love yourself. Because I hear a lot of women say that all the time, especially, they'll say, well, I'll contact you and I want you to do my style, but I gotta lose these 30 pounds. I gotta lose these 50 pounds. And I'm saying, no, love yourself where you are and start doing it now. Because I think you will find this to be true, Durriyyah, is that when you start the process, wherever you are, if you're not happy with your weight, if you're not happy with whatever, it will ignite other areas of your life. Because as you just stated, it's about loving you, discovering who you are to your core, the self-love piece. It will just carry over into every area of your life.
It will.
It will. So I thank you for coming in and joining the Silhouette of a Podcast tonight. And I see you have some viewers on here as well. I want to shout out Ebony Leapart. Thank you for watching, and Laval. And thank you. Yeah, your bestie's in here. Karen, I see Karen is in here. Thank y'all for watching. And you guys, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and share this podcast. And then for the replay watchers that are watching as well, I appreciate you. And Durriyyah, before we wrap up, I just want to share with the audience just some takeaways that we're going to take away for tonight. Again, you shared some valuable nuggets, and thank you for opening up with your own personal journey and just letting us know, even for myself and you as well, that the journey is still unveiling. Like it's unveiling. And so we're going to take away that thinking about your core of who you are as a person, and that self-love piece, because it really is important. It is valuable, and it will wrap up and spill over into your own personal style. So I want you to share with the audience before we go, your podcast and how they can find your podcast, what made you create your podcast. Just give us the deets on Hot Tea with Dee
podcast. Well, thank you, Tiffany. So for that opportunity to share my podcast. So the podcast is Hot Tea with Dee. Simple, okay? You can just Hot Tea with Dee. You can go to Instagram or Facebook and find at Hot Tea with Dee. If you go to Google, you can find it there, or you can go to Apple Podcast or Spotify, and you can just look up Hot Tea with Dee. What Hot Tea with Dee is a podcast for women to where we just take a moment in space to pour relatable scenarios and topics that we're going through, and that we can learn from, and that we can ultimately become better women. I mean, that's the name of the game, learning and growing. So each week I bring on a different expert, or a different expert, or maybe an entertainer, or somebody just like you and me who were just out here being moms. I just bring people on who can share and pour into the cup, and we can take things away and get some advice, set some goals, learn some things, and just continue to strive to be a better woman.
Yes. So if you guys haven't done so already, please go follow her, Hot Tea with Dee. Like she just said, her podcast is lit. I have learned so much from even listening to her podcast. And I
And
just
don't
want
forget
to
to tell them you was a guest on the podcast, pouring style in the cup. Come on.
Okay. Yes, I forgot. I was on there twice, pouring style in your cup, and
Vision.
Vision. Yes. Thank you so much for that reminder. I completely forgot.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I am your host and founder, Tiffany Devon. I am a certified life coach and wardrobe stylist. I style leaders and influencers in fearless fashions. And if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me here on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I crossed over into the TikTok world. So I'm over there.
TikTok.
And on YouTube. And so if you haven't done so, you can always click the like, subscribe, and share button. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Bye.